Howdy, Aubrey. How are you?
You're like channeling your inner cowgirl there. Howdy, Aubrey. Do you have cowboy boots, Jessica? I have 3
I do
pairs.
have cowboy boots. Oh my gosh, I love cowboy boots. They're so cool.
Never
They're so
wear
like
them, but my mother-in-law gave me some. My mom gave me some. I don't know where I got the other ones. I just
Ah!
every now and then.
But you never wear them?
I had to dress up Western for like a murder mystery thing.
Oh, fun.
I did wear them that night.
That's awesome. There are some major advantages and disadvantages of wearing cowboy boots, and I would like to share my opinion on that because, first of all, the advantage, in my opinion, is that they look so cool and fashionable and unique and funky. The disadvantage, however, is that they may not be very comfortable.
They're never comfortable. Never.
Yeah. However, the aesthetic appearance, again, to my mind, outweighs the disadvantage of discomfort.
Ooh,
Guys,
I love how you used all that great.
Wow.
Like you're writing an essay there. Advantage, disadvantage essay. Maybe you guys noticed that.
I just taught you everything you need to know about IELTS advantage, disadvantage essays in a minute. Okay, let's unpack this. So this is what we're talking about today, guys. How do you write an IELTS advantage, disadvantage essay? And do you need to have your opinion in there? Because the question doesn't directly ask you for your opinion. So what's the deal?
Yes, exactly right. And some essays can be really tricky. We had a student write in with a topic and asking about this, and I read that essay and I'm thinking, oh man, this would be a hard one. So we're going to read that for you guys and, like you said, unpack this and explain how you would do this. But we also want to make sure that you guys are aware that we have an IELTS writing only course, right, Jessica? If you email Jessica at allearsenglish.com, if writing is your main struggle and you're fine on the rest of the scores, but this is the score you need to improve, we do have just our 3 keys IELTS writing module available for you.
That's the only module we offer by itself, right? Otherwise, it's the whole course because most people do need to improve all of their English and all of their skills. But as Aubrey said, if writing is the only thing that's holding you back, email me, Jessica at allearsenglish.com. Okay, awesome. So let's get into the student question, Aubrey.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to read their question. They said, I have recently come across this essay. It looks more like a mixed essay. However, I'm inclined to think that an advantage-disadvantage template would suit well here. Furthermore, it doesn't mention anything about a personal opinion. What would be an appropriate response to this one? So let me read the topic for you. It says, some people spend most of their lives living close to where they were born. What might be the reasons for this? What are advantages and disadvantages? So you guys hear out there why I thought, ooh, this is tough. Because you have that first question, what might the reasons be for this, right? We need causes. But then that second one, you have 2 plurals, advantages and disadvantages. You'd need to share 2 of each, and this is probably one of the hardest essays to get on test day.
So hard, guys. Riaz, who got amazing IELTS scores, he got an overall 8. He talked about getting a question like this, and he told us how he did so well on it a couple weeks ago. So if you did not listen to Riaz's episode, definitely go back and listen to that from last week. Okay, so let's see. What is the best template for this, and what are you graded on?
Yeah.
First of all, guys, you have to realize that the examiner uses one writing rubric, one marking rubric for every essay. It doesn't matter what the question is. It doesn't matter what kind of essay you write. The examiner is always looking for exactly the same things. Okay, so you have to realize that first. It's not like there's a problem solution grade and a mixed essay grade and an opinion grade. No. So here is something you have to know about the task score. Again, it's the same for every single task 2 essay. General, academic, you graded on the same things, guys. For a 7 or higher for task, you have to show a strong position throughout the essay. So the best way to interpret that is as an opinion, right? Like position, I think, is the easiest to express as an opinion.
Yep, exactly. And think about what that means throughout the essay. It is not enough to state it one time in the conclusion, for example. That's
Right.
not making your personal position clear throughout the essay. So in our
Exactly.
course, 3 Keys IELTS, in our templates, we recommend that you state it clearly in your introduction and then share it in the body paragraph where you're talking about the side you agree with. And then again, restate it in the conclusion. And that satisfies that requirement of having it clear throughout your essay.
Definitely, definitely. It's, getting these high scores, it comes down to just some simple math problems sometimes, like 3 opinion statements equals a 7 or higher for task. Like we do try to break it down that simply for you guys because it is complicated. It is hard to understand. So let's dig into this because what would the template be for this? We often say that if there are 2 questions like this, if it's a mixed essay, then you talk about question 1 in body paragraph 1 and question 2 in body paragraph 2. So you have the introduction in which you cover the topic, you state your opinion, you have a thesis statement, and then in the next paragraph, right, the first body paragraph, you tackle that first reason. What might the reasons for this be? So that's asking you for causes, right? Just like a problem solution essay.
Yes, and notice the plural there as well. What are the reasons? If you share one clear reason and support that with an example, that's not sufficient. You need to share at least 2 to satisfy that plural.
And Riaz had a very interesting way of tackling the plurals. He said that he was able to put really 2 reasons in one sentence, and then he provided one example that covered both of those ideas, both of those reasons. So I really love that high level way of tackling this issue. Okay, so let's do a little brainstorm for our students quickly before we talk about the next body paragraph. What are some reasons for this? What are some causes for this topic? People spending most of their lives living close to where they were born. What's the first thing that comes to mind there, Aubrey?
Financial reasons, for sure, right?
Sure.
When you first graduate high school or even college, most people don't have the kind of funds to move into their own place. And maybe you don't know roommates to share that with. So a lot of people will either continue to live at home or find maybe they know someone who's letting out a room, something like that. So just to save money, a lot of people end up staying close to home.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely the financial reason, the fear factor, perhaps, like a fear of taking risks, for sure. It's just overall more comfortable, right? You have a support system. Your network is there, your family, your friends.
And then there's
so
also people get a job close to home that they really love when they're still living at home. I know I grew up in a farming community and a lot of people were working on the farm for their family and they loved it. So they planned on staying close to home, right? So if you start working and really enjoy what you're doing, there's not so much of a motivation to end up moving, right?
Definitely. So that would be more than enough ideas for one paragraph. Remember, one paragraph, it is plural reasons. So you do need to have 2 causes supported by examples. Now, the next paragraph, right? We have to have a 4-paragraph essay, in our opinion, because that's the most organized that you can do in 40 minutes. So in this next paragraph, we have to cover advantages and disadvantages.
I feel like you would almost have to do what Riaz did here, where you have really 2 advantages in that first idea and then support those with an example, a supporting detail, because then immediately you need to share 2 disadvantages. So this is a very high level way to do that. It's just tricky to make sure they're related because think about our causes from the first paragraph. It would be difficult to say, financial troubles and wanting to continue the family legacy and then have some kind of example because they're so different.
I think I'm sort of on the other end of the spectrum here. I think this would be difficult to not repeat yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Because the reasons that would kind of be the same as the advantages. Like those are the good things of staying home. That's why people stay close to where they were born. So this is really tricky because you can't repeat yourself, right? We can't do that on IELTS. So maybe you could paraphrase, but you have to have a different example. So like I would say the advantages, as mentioned previously, have to do with finances and comfort. And then you could think of a specific example of a friend. We all know people that have never left our hometowns, right? You could be like, you know, he runs his dad's car dealership now and is really rich and has a great life. Like, that's true. I know probably 2 or 3 people I could say that about.
Totally.
All right, so disadvantages. So this is where you have to have your opinion, guys. You have to say whether you agree that there are more advantages or disadvantages. So I'm going to agree disadvantages. So I would continue that paragraph by saying, nevertheless, I still feel that there are more disadvantages to staying close to home. And then I'd use myself as an example.
Yeah, for sure. I could use myself as an example there too. And I would talk about being able to open your mind and your knowledge about the world, sort of removing yourself from the sort of sheltered existence that you might have grown up in, right? And that's something I could easily say with passion outweighs any advantages of staying in your hometown.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. So remember, it doesn't matter which side you agree with. You're not wrong. Your opinion is not wrong.
Nor does the examiner care, right? They're not like, which opinion do I agree with more? They just are looking to see if you support it.
Yeah, exactly. So put your opinion very clearly and directly as often as possible. We can even fit that in the second paragraph. We could say, well, to my mind, there are a number of reasons that are obvious or something. So put your opinion in there wherever you can, guys, and do restate it, paraphrase it in the conclusion and say, in sum, I agree with those who feel there are more disadvantages to staying close to home. So guys, that should give you an idea of how important it is to clearly and often state your opinion, no matter the task 2 question.
Yes. And as a little bonus, I've noticed a lot in the essays that I'm grading for our 3 Keys students. Often when they restate their opinion in the conclusion, they're changing it or they're using wording that suddenly makes it a new idea. Be very careful here, guys.
Careful of that.
Yeah, make sure you're just restating your opinion, because if you add a new idea here, if you make it different enough that it's not related, then you would have to support that. You don't want to do that in a conclusion. So make sure, just restate your opinion, use different wording, paraphrase, but make sure the idea is the same throughout. Because like it says, your opinion must be consistent. Right. You can't share several different opinions that are related but are a little bit different. It has to be the same, just reworded.
Yeah, I think you forwarded me one of those essays so we could talk about it. Like, it was a high-level essay, and the student was so good at expressing their opinion, but then they sort of took a risk in the conclusion, and maybe it was just risky vocab or risky complicated ideas. Regardless of why, it ended up that the opinion they stated in the conclusion was like the opposite of what they stated in the body, and I'm like, oh no, this kills your score.
Yes, I know. And I see it happen way too often. And like you said, often it's a vocabulary issue. So really pay attention. Make sure you're using words that you are sure of the context. You know what it means. Because I don't think that it's ever a student saying, ooh, I'm going to put a different opinion here. No, it's just vocabulary issue, a paraphrase struggle, which actually changes the meaning. So again, you know, we've said this before, guys, don't take risks on test day. Make sure to use vocabulary that you are 100% confident it means what you're intending to mean.
Exactly. All right, guys. So if you are curious about our entire 3 Keys system online, go to allearsenglish.com/KEYS. And if you only want the writing module, email me, Jessica@allearsenglish.com. All right. Awesome. Aubrey, thanks. This was fun. I'll talk to you next week.
Yep. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.